Hey everybody, welcome back. As promised before in this Vitruvian live episode, I'm going to talk about the games that I bought and that I saw at Spiel 2022. I previously did a video talking about my impressions a little bit, and this time I am going to talk about the games that most of the games that I bought, of course. But let me mention you first a couple of games that I saw. Or maybe even the games that looked like they were very popular. Lacrimosa was going well. Great Western Trail Australia, or Argentina. Argentina was going very good. Cat in the Box, Splendor Duel, Tokaido Duo. What else did I see that went really hard? War of the Ring was one that I saw at many people's hands. Starship Captains, I saw a lot of AEG. There were so many games. People were buying a bunch of games. Tiletum and Terracotta Army by Board and Dice were going well. Us at Portal Games, we had Basilica and 11 that went really well. So there were a good bunch of hits. I think the new cooperative Carcassonne was doing great as well. So, oh man, I think it was a successful convention for a lot of publishers, also for Portal Games. I saw a post where they said that it was the best one in 15 years for them. So that sounds like a positive thing. Anyway, what did I play? So I played 2 games that I didn't buy. I think I played a couple more games, demos, which were okay or not okay, but the ones that surprised me or I had really fun with were Challengers. Challengers is a capture the flag game, really interesting, especially fun, where you have up to 8 players go against each other in a capture the flag tournament. So each time you're going to play a game against one other opponent, so you will have multiple games being played at the same time, and you start with a basic deck and you do actually like a kind of a game of war where you just flip up your top card, and then the other player will do the same, and they have to play cards until they at least have the equal power than your card. And they leave their last played card on top of that stack, they capture the flag, your guys go to the bench, and then you have to flip cards again until you beat their top card. And it sounds very silly and stupid, but after each game you get to draw some cards, choose a couple out of them, and improve and adapt your deck. So by the end of the game, and I think we played 7 matches, so by the end of the game, everybody has a different deck with different strategies, with different combinations. It was really fun. Kind of sad that I didn't buy it. I think I'm going to check my game store here and order one still. Although it's mostly for larger number of players, that makes it more interesting. But I can see this being played in my board game club and maybe at some New Year's Eve and my birthday and all that stuff. Alright, what else did I play that I really like? Book of Dreams by Board and Dice, which was an advanced prototype by the designer who also did Mandala Stones, and that was really cool. You had these holders where you put in cards, and you have to click it as closed, and then, well, you get new cards, and then you do actions on the cards, and you flip your booklet, and you have 3 booklets before you, and, well, very cool, kind of a set collection, action selection game. Pretty neat. It's hard to explain how it really works in a couple of sentences, but check it out. I guess it will be a release for next year, and it really vibed with me, and I'm really looking forward to playing this for a big real game, because I only played half of a game as a demo. Anyway, let's go to the games that I bought, folks. Let's go to the interesting stuff. Let's go to the smallest package first. This was for sale, the Superhero Story Pack for Roll Camera. So this adds new cards, superhero themed cards, and apparently also some other rules. So Keen Bean is going to make more of these and sell them for a low price, and they just keep this game alive, interesting, adding new things. Really looking forward to this one, of course, because it's superheroes. Who doesn't like that? But very interested in to see what the future will bring with that. All right, let's go to the second one here. A lot of people got this game here, Simulo. This is, I think, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is especially for Spiel. So some publishers had this for free if you bought a certain game, and I also got one of these. And so it's a new version of Simulo, which is already exists in a couple of themes, but this apparently is a board game themed one, which of course is very cool to have. All right, one of the biggest ones, folks, the biggest hits of the convention. Sadly enough, they only had 150, 170 copies. Was Cat in a Box, and I'm having quite a bunch of cheats in this video because not everything in this pile was bought at the convention, but still I wanted to show you because I decided to get some stuff pre-ordered somewhere else, so I didn't have to bring it from Spiel, or was risking not getting a copy at Spiel. Cat in the Box was one of these. I got this one muled by another volunteer at Portal Games who came from the States, so he brought me a copy. And well, this is one of the big hits. This is a trick-taking game where at the beginning of the game there are no colors yet. So as soon as you play a card for the first time, you get to decide, for example, the number 3 card. At that moment, you choose which color that card is. Is it a red, blue, yellow, or green? 3. And so the next time someone plays a 3, they have to choose another color. There is some more stuff going on in this game, and I'm pretty sure that I'm really going to be very bad at it as well, but this looked very, very unique. Next one is Marvel Remix. Marvel Remix is a new implementation of the game Fantasy Realms, which was one of my big surprises a couple of years ago. This now, of course, adds the Marvel team and adds villains to the fray. So now you start with 6 normal cards, which can be heroes, locations, equipment, allies, let's see if I can find anything, maneuvers, conditions. But you also draw 1 villain card. And at the end of the game, you will only score points if you have at least 1 villain, 1 hero, and 1 ally in your hand. And besides that, they all do different combinations, as we already know from Fantasy Realms. I played this 3 times, a 2-player game now, 3 or 4 times. And for a 2-player game, this works better than Fantasy Realms. I have to see how it does in a multiplayer game. Alright, next is also a big hit, Splendor Duel, which is the 2-player version of Splendor, designed by Marc-André and Bruno Catala. And this is, I played this now as well, already once. I wanted to check it out. It works differently from the normal Splendor, but you know the base of it. You're trying to get cards. Cards will help you in paying for better cards. And this game, you're kind of drafting the gems that you use to buy cards from a small board in the middle of the table, and you get some tiles in a straight line, 1 to 3 tiles if you want to take gems, and you will that way you will buy these cards. But with certain things that you do, players will get these I don't know how they were called again, but like these parchment tokens, which they can use to help them during the game as well. And there are 3 different victory conditions. You can go up to 20 points. If you're the first one, you win. But also you have crowns on the cards, and if you're the first player to reach 10 crowns, you win. And then there's also one where if you have 10 points worth of cards in the same color, then you can also win. So that's cool that there are 3 different things that you can go for. And for me, for a 2-player game, definitely this is the better version, better than normal Splendor as far as I know out of one play. Then this one here, Cinema Frontier. I've been in a movie-themed board game craze lately, especially buying them or purchasing them. And this one was at the auction on Board Game Geek. I bought this one for €3. It's probably Japanese game or something like that about making movies. You're a famous movie director. What you shoot and who you use is completely up to you. You must manage how much time to take before each scene, gather the funds by advertising, and overcome the accidents and create the best film possible. Love the team. If is it any good? I don't know. But this was a really cheap one, and it was on my wish list for a while because of the theme. Then another muled one, and I got a little bit lucky with this. I'm not even sure if you could get any copies at Spiel, so this might be a big cheat. But this is Rear Window by Funko Games. This is a game that reminds people a little bit of Mysterium in a kind of a way, where one player is playing Hitchcock, and he's the person that knows if there was a murder, and then also who murdered or where the murder was, in which apartment. If you saw the movie, it's about a guy, I think a guy or a woman, I don't know. I honestly haven't seen the movie myself, but someone sees through their window in an apartment something that's might have been a murder, but it might not have. He might be wrong, and in this game, that is the same thing. So the Hitchcock player is giving clues about the apartments, about who, where, what, I don't know. But he might also, there might not have been a murder, and so he's a little bit like a traitor himself sometimes. Very curious about this one. This got muled for me for a very good price from the United States, where sometimes they have really good promotions. I wish they did here as well. Second one is also one that wasn't for sale at Spiel, but someone brought it for me. There is a Board Game Geek thread where you can ask for used copies of games. If you're looking for a very specific game, you can try to find people who are selling a copy. And this one, I think, was from Czechia. And this is a brand new one. So this game I couldn't find anywhere here in Belgium. And apparently they're just selling them in a store in Czechia. And this is a very neat game where with a big apartment building or a hotel where there is a murder, and you have, well, kind of have to figure out where the murder was, and you have to try to frame the murder on one of the other players by dropping cubes into this tower and trying to hear where the cubes dropped, where they landed in this cube tower thing. Really fun game, I must say. Next one is one of the Portal games. Again, I got this beforehand already. This is Empires of the North's Wrath of the Lighthouse, a solo campaign for Empires of the North. So if you like that, this is what you need. This is designed by Joanna Kijanka, who already did a bunch of things for Portal games now, and she really knows what she's doing. So wow, this is I'm looking forward to this. Again, as always, no promises, but there might be a playthrough of maybe first scenario on the channel, maybe in the near future. Who knows? Time. Okay, next one. Oh, I'm looking forward to play this, folks. This is the War of the Ring, the card game, and although it has actually not that much to do with the board game called War of the Ring, because that's a big, epic game with tons of miniatures, this is still a card game where you're trying to kind of have area control by playing cards on these locations, which are also cards. So, but it looks pretty cool. Thematic, the artwork looks amazing, and I am looking so much forward to playing this. This is actually mostly a 2 versus 2 game where 2 players play the dark side and 2 players play the good folks, but the free people. But there is a 2-player variant, and I hope it is interesting and fun enough to play this, because this will probably only be played 2 players. So fingers crossed. It also came with some promo cards, which is always very interesting if it has great art product like this. Let's go to the next Portal Games game, which is 11. And this is another cheat because this game was backed by me on GameFound. Well, it was not really back to me. I must say I have to thank Portal Games for this. I got this game from them because I did some proofreading, playtesting, and I must say I was the one who brought the game club stories to them to show them, and that started everything in the progress of deciding to publish this. So somehow I'm kind of a little bit attached to this game. This is the Kickstarter version. It comes together with a bunch of expansions as well. But this was for sale as well at Spiel. That's why I still show it. Otherwise I would have bought it there. But it looks pretty neat, and maybe this well as well. This has a this you can play solo. It's really good at solo to play solo, but there's also a solo campaign in the expansions. So maybe there will be something on the channel about that. Maybe I should not have started with the small games, because now I'm making a very dangerous Jenga tower here. Anywho, let's go to the next one. Dice Manor. Now Dice Manor is a little bit of a special purchase because Arcane Wonders is releasing this next year, somewhere next year, but they already had about 150 copies of this one, and well, I managed to grab one. This is a game where you're trying to well, you're a property developer and you're trying to make the best home that people will buy, of course. It looks a little bit like this, and it has some DNA of Las Vegas, which is a cool dice chucking game. In this case also, you're rolling a bunch of dice, you choose one result, so maybe all the twos, you take all the twos out of it and you use them on certain actions. You can distribute them over all the actions, and then when it comes back to you, you take your leftover dice, you roll them, and again you choose one result, trying to gain the best rooms that you want, or the best advertising, or what else, or to get visitors, I think, into your house, hopefully buying the house. So really looks pretty neat, colorful, and not too hard to play, but still a lot of fun. I think I saw a playthrough on the Dice Tower and I was really psyched about this, so I'm happy to got myself a copy. So I've been smart, I'm not going to place one up here anymore. Next one, again, one that I managed to grab already before the fair, was Basilica. Basilica is that two-player game by Portal Games. It was an older game, it just has been re-released with some new stuff maybe, and they polished it up a little bit. This is what they say, a tight, clever, and often mean two-player game, and that's exactly true. It's very cool. It has a bunch of tiles in there. You're building the Basilica together. The player with the most points will have done the best job, but there is a lot to consider in this game. Each time you choose to build a tile in the Basilica, each time you place one of your few builders on a tile, each time you decide to take a tile and perform its action, you have to consider what's coming, what's already there, and what your opponent will be able to do or not do when you do so. Very cool two-player game. Not my style normally, but I enjoyed doing demos of this at Spiel, and it is a pretty neat one. Okay, so one more that I got in a trade before I show you some other things. So I got some promos as well. Also in the auction, got some promos for Ghost Stories, which I only played twice and lost so hard that I wanted to sell it, but it's an Antoine Bauza game, which I really love as a designer, and I want to give it another chance. And I just bought some more stuff for it, and then an event deck or event cards for Defenders of the Realm that I also got at the auction. But I also got this in a trade. I traded away my copy of Dragonfire for a still sealed, well, it has some seal of it, but a sealed copy of Valley of the Kings, a game that was on my wish list for years now, and I finally have it. I played the first small box twice. Love the system of the pyramid where you can buy your cards love the entombing of your cards, things that you can do or have to do sometimes. And secretly, I am in a very, very early stage of thinking about making a board game or a deck building game actually that uses something like the entomb system. So this is also a little bit of research material, but really looking forward to playing this one again with everything in it. That's cool. All right, and we have one more, folks, one more big one. This was the one that I was doubting about for a couple of days. I finally bought it on Saturday, but I was considering it already at Wednesday evening, Thursday, Friday, because honestly, and I don't like mentioning publishers in a bad way, but I must admit that sometimes I will not say their name, but you will know which publisher I mean, because you know what publisher this game is from. And as I mentioned, games in the previous video, games were expensive at Spiel. You see that prices are going up, but this was expensive. And so let's just do the good news first. So I bought Marrakesh. All right, Marrakesh, a game by Stefan Feld. I really wanted this game because it was Stefan Feld. I really wanted this game because it uses a cube tower and it looked awesome. And on Saturday morning, I saw Stefan Feld himself at the booth, so I just bought it, the deluxe version, and got it signed, which is awesome. And although I don't know really much about the gameplay, I heard people saying it was really good, so I have high hopes about this game. But it was expensive. It was 145 euros. That's a lot. And I'm not sure if it's worth that much. The difference, well, we also had the base one, the normal copy, and I think that still was 90 or 95 euros, which also was a steep price. And the only difference is that you have some screen printed worker meeples in this box, some ships tokens instead of the ones that were in the other one, and some towers or wall pieces as well, also screen printed as well. Plus you got separately an insert for this, a plastic insert. It was because of my friend said you really need that insert because otherwise setup will be not fun. But it was 50 or 55 euros more for just that difference, to exchange some cardboard tokens by some other wooden ones, to exchange some wooden ones by screen printed wooden ones, and to get the insert. It was a lot. So I hope this game is good. It felt a little bit wrong about buying this one, but still, high hopes because of the pedigree of the designer and some of the mechanisms inside of this one. And I got it signed, so I'm happy with that as well. So I'm really curious, excited to play this one, and I hope I love it as much as some of his other games, for sure. But yeah, it was expensive. Anywho, were my purchases. Now I must admit, I could have bought more games if it was 3 or 4 years ago and life was different, when I didn't have a daughter to look at, when I had the time to play more games and all that stuff. But I decided to be a little bit more careful. There were a bunch of games that I would have liked to get, but that were more of a gamble for me, and that's why I passed on them for now. Also, this list is not complete really, because I also pre-ordered 3 games that were released at Spiel. I decided to order them at my local, my local online game store, because it turned out to be quite a bit cheaper, honestly. And those games were Heat by Days of Wonder, a racing game by the designer of Flamme Rouge, which was my instant buy for Spiel, but that's still on its way as soon as all 3 of these games are in stock, because the second one was Ready Set Bet, which is a party game, real-time betting on horses game where one player rolls dice to move horses on the track, while other players are betting their money on kind of a roulette table to see this horse will be first, that one will be after that horse, this one will not reach that position, all kinds of crazy stuff. It's really hectic, but it looks amazingly fun. And the last one was 3000 Scoundrels by Unexpected Games, Cory Kaniska, who already did the initiative and Voices in My Head. They make unique games with special stuff, and 3000 Scoundrels is not any different. It looks amazing and it looks unique. So I ordered that one as well and would have bought it otherwise at Spiel. But I already pre-ordered them and I'm waiting for my copies. So I have to add those to the list. Okay, folks, and that was it. That was all she wrote, or all he bought. Let me know in the comments which games you bought at Spiel if you went, or which games released at Spiel you are looking forward to or already got through other channels or at other places. Let me know in the comments below, because I really want to know what games are really awesome, what games should I have bought in your honest opinion, which is worth a lot to me. Let it know in the comments below. And with that being said, thank you all for watching this episode of the Vitruvian Live. It's a longer one. This is the Essen Spiel purchase episode, which is of course takes quite more time, but I still hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I see you next time in the next episode. See you all soon. See you in the future. Bye bye.